The amount of damage the bomb explosion inflicts is based on distance and whether you're wearing armor or not. It doesn't matter if you're behind 20 feet of concrete or out in the open. It doesn't matter if you look towards or away from the bomb. Your beliefs aren't going to save you. But since distance matters, jumping may actually reduce damage. On all maps, the bomb does 500 damage and has a radius of 1,750 units, which is the same as 27 crates widths or a 7-second run with a knife out. You can see the zone of doom by typing into the console sv_cheats1 followed by map_showbombRadius. The damage drop-off can be seen here. Everything over 100 damage instantly kills, so let's zoom into the important area. With armor, you can survive with 1 hit point remaining from 788 units. Without armor, 1046 units. It would take just over 3 seconds to get to a sub 100 damage distance with armor and 4 without. At any distance, wearing armor halves the amount of damage dealt by the explosion. Let's look at places where you can survive the blast. This, of course, completely depends on where you plant the bomb. For example, on Inferno, if you plant the bomb here, standing in this corner will kill you, even with 100 health and armor. But if you plant the bomb in the opposite corner, you'll only take 11 damage. Even tiny changes to where the bomb is planted could tip the damage to either side of the lethal amount. But take this video as a rough guide and a bit of entertainment, since the chances are that you won't even have 100 health to play with at the end of the round anyway. I've done all of these tests with armor. If you don't have any, double the numbers here and that's what it will do to your fragile, messy little body. Dust 2, Bombsite A. Planting for long A like so will make almost the entire site deadly. The only safe areas are along the far side of short A. You'll only sustain 46 damage on the top of the baskets in the corner, meaning that you'll even be able to survive without armor from this spot. Provided you get about halfway down long A, then you should be okay. Planting behind this crate, by comparison, makes some interesting changes. All of a sudden, hiding in this corner with the green car will only inflict 74 damage and it won't take as long to get to a safe place at short. The back of the site, however, remains deadly. And this doesn't change with the third spot shown here, though it would if you intentionally planted as far away from it as possible. Here, I only sustain 83 damage. But yeah, back to the third spot. Even the basket area at short is lethal, but it doesn't take long at all to get to a safe distance at long. I see people rushing down long A in a straight line, but since the damage zone is sphere-shaped, you greatly improve your chances by sticking to the left-hand side. At the mouth of long corridor, you can see that it makes a 30 HP difference which side you're on. Dust 2, Bombsite B. Planting in this spot of Bombsite B gives you a lot of options for when it explodes. The zone of death is particularly helpful here since the bombsite is mostly the same height. Since the zone is spherical, vertical distance also helps your chances of survival. Almost everywhere along the far side of the bombsite will let you survive the blast, but as always, it's best to get as far away as possible. The far end of the site, unsurprisingly, deals the least damage. Even without armor, you can survive within the site without risking ambushes from remaining CTs and B tunnels. Moving the bomb plant to behind the double crates, however, makes the far end of the site towards tunnels the only viable place to hide. You can see that damage quickly drops off along this wall. I believe that these two spots will remain survivable wherever you choose to plant within B. And finally, just for lols, I tested the spot on top of crates here. It's the same story as before, and honestly I'm running out of ways to describe how the damage drops off with distance here. It's spherical, people. If in doubt, run directly away from the bomb. No 2 clicks, Philip. That's towards it. Thanks to Trelux for suggesting some of the spots to test. This video took me far longer than I expected it to, but if you're interested then I'll go through the rest of the active duty maps in a later video. Hopefully this one has given you a few ideas to play with. Have fun!